FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
Cheers. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 272. Always great to hang out with you. Been a little while since we've hung out live on Facebook. The group is there. They're here, eager, ready to go. Those of you listening in the app or wherever you get your podcasts, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us along this journey. Thanks for changing your life, because when you change your life, someone else changes theirs as a result, and the whole world becomes a better place. So you, by helping you, are helping the world, and so that makes this whole thing work. I want to make sure that if you're not already, get the Wise Advice app. You can go to your app store and find that. Join us in the Wise Wingman Facebook group. That's a group of us who a little over 5,000 of us now who just kind of get in, we connect, and we relate to each other in a way that just doesn't happen many other places on the internet. WiseWingman.com will launch you directly into the group, and I'm telling you, it's an amazing group of people, and the only thing that can make it better is to make sure that you are in there as well. So tonight's episode, I got 3 emails up for you, and the last 2 were kind of interesting. I'll share a backstory when I get to them, but I want to open up out of California. Laura writes in, and she says, "Dear FatDag, hey, I've been a fan of yours for about a year. I'm a lifetime member since taking off my baby weight 20 years ago. I have a lovely, helpful leader in my regular workshop, but in addition, I listen to your podcast while I'm driving. I absolutely love hearing everyone else's concerns and your upbeat responses. I've heard about many non-skilled victories on your show relating to health, knees that feel better, getting off blood pressure or diabetes medication, or a positive annual checkup. I have not heard my particular health issue addressed because mental health is also health. I suffer from depression. Looking back, I guess I was always prone to the blues, but things really hit the skids in January 2016 when I found the hotel receipts proving that my husband was cheating on me. I had no idea. I was totally oblivious. In fact, my husband was cruel enough to say that I was intentionally oblivious. I was totally blindsided and went into shock similar to PTSD. I had to be medicated with Prozac and stronger drugs just to make it through the day without screaming. I lost my job because I was cursing in front of my students. I lost control. My husband said he was sorry and that it was a mistake and that he wanted to stay married. We have 4 children and 30 years of history, so I didn't want to divorce him without trying to work it out. We got a very good marriage counselor, and I kept saying to myself, just stay married for the next 2 months, and then you can leave him. Although I hate him for lying to me, I love him and the life that we have together. Fast forward 3 years, and we're still married. When my logical brain is in charge, I can see that his infidelity was his mistake, arising mostly from a midlife crisis. It was not a reflection on me. Also, I know from research that more than 25% of intact marriages suffer the scars of infidelity. I enjoy our relationship and the many active pursuits we enjoy in common. The problem is my logical brain is not always in charge. On a monthly basis, I have an episode where I'm screaming and crying all over again. It's very painful and exhausting for me and takes days to recover from. And it hurts our fragile relationship. Obviously, I would like to stop screaming and crying. I started journaling and keeping track of when these episodes occur. It's almost always alcohol related. I've been a social drinker my whole life, so I did not want to give up alcohol. Then I realized that I never have an emotional episode when I'm actually carefully tracking and watching what I eat. When I have a good WW week, my mood is very stable. So I have concluded that I am allergic to sugar and alcohol. Well, it's not just alcohol, because eating sugar and processed carbs leads me to crave alcohol. I have to avoid them all together. My diet is very closely tied to my mental health. When I have had a day full of protein, fruits, and vegetables, I can hear my husband tell me that he's working late, and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry you have to work so hard. I hope you get the problem solved." When I have a day full of breads and a glass of wine, my lizard brain rears up and screams, "Don't believe him. He's cheating on you. Who wouldn't cheat on you for a younger, sexier woman? You're a loser." I've learned through therapy not to say all those words out loud, but they are still causing so much pain in my heart. I would prefer not to even think them. So other people have written to you and that they say the WW plan keeps them off their blood pressure medication. Well, WW keeps me off Prozac and Xanax. As long as I'm very careful with what I eat, in addition to sleep and exercise, of course, I am able to have my feelings, but not have them sweep me away. I'm able to live my life with normal, healthy social interactions. I am able to be proud of my behavior and not worry that I'll fly off the handle inappropriately. I am able to live with the scar of infidelity without letting it run my life. Now that I've written it all down, this letter is my new why. Forget all those other goals of beauty, fitness, and long life. I just want mental stability. Mike, thank you for your constant encouragement. Laura, first and foremost, deeply sorry that this is something that you've been dealt and that you have to deal with. But I'm very proud of you for the way that you've handled it. And so there is no judgment in this world. There's an opportunity for you to recognize that this is your journey, right? Not just when it comes to weight, not just when it comes to mental health. Your entire life journey is yours. So what happens now is that you had the opportunity to take control of it, and you've done that well. So we can't go back and second guess. We can't look at you and say, here's what I would have done in this scenario, because their scenario is so deep and so, it's so in there that you are the only one capable of making the decision that you came to. And so the decision that you've made, I'm proud that you've come there. And now I want to help you on the mental health side of it, that for the rest of your life is probably going to linger. But what I'm very happy to hear is that you have recognized your trigger moments in your life. And you recognize that, the carbs and the sugar and the alcohol is what triggers that lizard brain side of you. It's amazing that you've taken the opportunity with all of this going on. You have taken the opportunity to go, I know what triggers me. I value the journey. I value my life. And here's what I want for my life. So therefore, things that I've used and had for my entire life, I'm now willing to let go to preserve my future life. I think it's amazing. And so when it comes to mental health, there are so many different variables and triggers. And we can't even for a second begin to say that this is what causes it, or this is how to fix it, or this is how to resolve it. But so each individual has to come to terms in their own way, and you've done that. Getting help from your counselor, certainly instrumental, and obviously, continue that however you see fit, because you know that journey better than anybody else. But it seems like at the time that you needed it most, you checked in with a professional, you checked in with your family, and you checked in with yourself. And then at that point, you said, okay, here is the game plan going forward. And there are days when, like you said, there are days when you are completely in control, and that is directly tied to how well you take care of your body. We've heard the expression so many times, right? You are what you eat. And so as you eat healthier and be healthier, mentally, you are stronger and healthier as well. They're all tied together. And the fact that you've taken the time to recognize that is incredible work. You've done some deep soul searching inside. Granted, it was a hand that was dealt to you that you were forced to deal with, but I think you've dealt with it magnificently. So I'm very proud of you. I'm happy for your family. And as these scars continue they will be with you for the rest of your life, but you now understand how to control them, how to manage them in most cases, right? We're not going to be perfect in that lane either. But what you have understood and what you've now gotten to realize is that this is your journey. You've got this, and you've made amazing progress. And I promise you, as we dive through this, what will happen is other people will now say, okay, I can talk about this now. Because it was finally shared, because Laura finally took the courage and the strength to say, hey, here is my journey. I promise you, you're not alone in this journey. It may not have been a story we've had on this podcast before, but I promise you that of the tens of thousands of people who are listening, you are not the only one who has walked this journey. And so now that you've demonstrated the courage that hey, this can be won, and you're taking care of you, other people will be able to take care of them. Just how I open the show is that when you change your life and you take charge of your life, other people have the ability to do that as well. So the Wingman community, certainly as they're watching live on Facebook, they reach out with many, we're here for you, we got you, thank yous. I think you'll find the group. If you're not in the group already, certainly you could drop into the group and be a welcome part of that community. So Laura, thank you so much. Continue the amazing progress that you made. Continue to know that your therapy is helping, and that the eating right and taking care of your body is what's going to fuel this for a long time. Out of Newark, Delaware, Tracy writes in. She's joining us live on Facebook. She says, hi, Mike and fellow wingmen. Hey, I had planned this email for quite some time, and a squirrel or a butterfly continued to distract me. So I'm sitting down now just for what I'd hoped to be a quick note. But I doubt that will happen. I plan to send another letter after Saturday, April 20th. Why, might you ask? Well, I hit lifetime. April 20th should be my lifetime date. I've already warned my WW coach that my entourage, daughter and my husband, will be with me. My daughter will tape to share with our sons. Maybe it's a bit much, but it's been a long road, and I've worked really hard for it. Mike, we met at the Philly 5K. I had hit my 100-pound mark that morning. It was a joy to meet everyone, and we had a great time, even though I got stung, and I found out later that I'm evidently allergic to bees. My husband and I really enjoyed the gathering afterwards and talking to everyone. It always still amazes me that there are so many similar stories and feelings. That's what makes this community and group so helpful. In August of 2012, I began this journey. As I mentioned when you read my email in episode 157, there have been lots of ups and downs and sideways, actually. As I write this, we're going through one of those downs. I had recently posted in the Wingman group that we lost my father-in-law this week. I thank everyone for their kind words and their support. You are a big part of me keeping in control this week and remembering one of my whys. This week is bittersweet. Again, around Easter, as with my father 3 years ago, chocolate bunnies no longer make me happy. I'm so glad he got to see me at my goal weight. He told me he was proud of me. That meant the world to me. My original goal weight was the WW chart. However, as I got closer, I felt that it would not be sustainable for the lifestyle that I want, and quite frankly, another 20 pounds seems like too much. After finding a more realistic chart online, at least for me, I got a doctor's note and I changed my goal. However, life continued to go on. After much thought and discussion with my husband, I struggled to get to that goal. But I thought if I changed my goal again, I would be giving up. However, after basically maintaining for several months, several discussions with my husband and my WW coaches, and after much thought, I changed the goal again. After listening to the podcast, I thought about where I am in life right now. What can I sustain without killing myself and still be happy? I think I've found the balance that I need. In a few months, that may change and I may adjust. Hey, I'll be honest. I'm not sure if I'm happy exactly where I am. However, I know right now more is not going to work. I already do some treadmill 6 days a week before going to the Y 4 days a week. I have started some weight training to do some toning, which I think will help me feel better about how I look. I think adding too much more exercise would make me get frustrated or bored and I may quit. I'm pretty happy with my routine right now. One of my recent non-scale victories was working out. I posted this, so forgive me for repeating, but my son, who has a friend who's a trainer, when adding toning, I decided it would be a great quality time with our older son. So after work, he would come home and we'd work out. I was doing his training session, not one set up for me. I imagine my pride when he came from work a couple of days later and told me that he had told that his workout buddy said his mom is a machine. If you can't tell, this next part of the podcast, no worries. I missed one workout and I asked him how it was, and he said it was hell. I asked him what the ninth workout would be. His response was, hell. I told him, well, I will see you in hell. Sorry, but I think that's pretty funny. Bottom line is, I was doing things I had never been able to do before. Leg lifts, planks, jogging on the treadmill. I'm going on 53 years old. Our son is 27. Old mom still has it. Some other non-skill victories are visiting Chattanooga. We went through the Rock City, and I was able to do all the skinny routes through the rocks instead of taking the detours. I crossed a swinging bridge, and I'm actually terrified of heights. We renovated a bathroom, and I was jogging up and down the stairs with 4x6s, even though I had already worked out that day. I loaded my husband's pickup truck by myself, all of his tools, his air compressor, etc., when he blew his back out. These are things that I absolutely could not have done 100 pounds ago. Well, sorry if I'm coming off sounding like a little braggart. Here's what I'm getting at. As I mentioned in the email several months ago, don't give up. It took me almost 7 years to get here. Lots of changes, but I believe that, although it was frustrating and it was taking this long, I was not perfect. There were times I could have done better, been more focused, not become complacent. The mindset was a huge obstacle for me to overcome. This is my journey, no one else's. Everyone has their own journey, and we all can get to that goal, but we have to find what works for us. Some can work out several hours a day. If that works for them, great. It doesn't work for me. Some can give up cake, pizza, insert your favorite fruit here, but again, that's not me. I choose WW because it's a lifetime change. Like how I worked that lifetime word in there, but it's my life and I have to make it work for me. I think I finally found that happy place where I don't have the fear of missing out that our family says is FOMO. I hope that's what that means. Anyway, you never know with this family. I have come a long way. I'm able to control the emotional eating so much better than in the past. Though this time I have kept up with my exercise and continued tracking. Several of my in-laws and family and friends have commented on my weight loss. My goal will keep me between the weight loss of 98.6 and 103.4 pounds. Here is another non-scale victory. I signed up for the Indy Ultimate this year. What? Who is this person? We heard the podcast from last year and we decided to go for it. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone in person. If I seem standoffish, apologies. I'm shy and I actually get very overwhelmed. Several of you have already reached out to reassure me and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you to the Wingman community for being such a big part of my support group. If you use this, edit it as you need. It was meant to be short. I promised. The next one will be see you in Indy in June, Tracy. So awesome. Tracy, it was so awesome to meet you, one in Philadelphia. I remember that day very, very clearly. You came right to the 5K directly from your meeting, holding your 100-pound charm. I was incredibly inspired that day by your tenacity to say, I want to do both of these things, but I'm not missing out on getting to my workshop in the morning. So that was very, very cool. Then, we did, you had sent this email in and we had a chance to talk about it while you were here in Indianapolis for the Indy Ultimate. So we had a great conversation. You and your husband are amazing people. It was so good to see you again. You're a complete rock star. You're totally doing this thing. You're on your terms. And that's kind of the piece that I really want to highlight in your email is that I love the fact that you changed your goal 18 trillion times, right? Or 3. Because what happens is if we think that what we set as a goal today is going to be our same goal for the rest of our life, maybe not so much. There are probably people right now listening going, well, it is for me. Great. Good on you. Right. That's your journey. But there are other people that we realized along the way, and I'm going to project here a little bit and put kind of my words on this is there are things that I did to get the goal that I wasn't willing to do for the rest of my life. So I have to find a way to bring them back in, and that changes everything. And so here we are, we're at this journey where you're killing it. You're crushing a workout that your 27-year-old son is doing. So you got to celebrate that and be proud of that. And so what your goal really is I don't think you ever changed your goal. What I think you actually did is I think you just kind of redeveloped a strategy to keep you in the best shape and mind that you want to be. We talked about at the opening of the show that this journey, a lot of it is mental health. And so your mental health was taken a beating by continuing to look at a scale number that didn't align with your lifestyle. So here we are now looking at the way that you're going to shape your future life. And you said, okay, this is what I want to do. And so what I believe to be true now is that what's going to happen is many months from now, you'll probably change your goal again, and you may even reduce it at that point. You may continue to fluctuate in a positive way because your mental health is the priority, and you're always mindful that you want to be healthy. That's the goal here. That's the key. So the key is, as much as we would love to be within a 2-pound range for the rest of our life, and I get that's possible for many, but for a lot of us, not so much. The goal truly is to say, dang, I'm happy. Life is good. Everything's just wonderful. I'm socially active. I'm physically active. And I'm just enjoying my life. That's where you're at. And what an amazing opportunity for you to be at a goal and to be at lifetime and to just always just be an incredible inspiration. Down 100 pounds or 98 pounds or 103 pounds, depending on what it is, regardless between 98 and 103, there isn't a single person on the planet that's going to discredit the 98 versus the 103. They're the same number for all intents and purposes. Right? It doesn't matter if it was 97, 98, or 100. What you did was completely change your life, and you have proven it by continuing to get out there and exercising, doing your activity way more than you ever had in your life. You're throwing all the tools in your husband's truck when his back is thrown out. Things like you said you could never have done 100 pounds ago. Continue to celebrate that amazing awesomeness that you have. 6 days a week on a treadmill. Being who you are is where the celebration is. And I'm totally glad that you found it. Now, folks, at the bottom of Tracy's email, this is kind of the fun part of the story. At the bottom of her email, she says, P.S. Hey, I just found out that, unbeknownst to me, my husband sent you a letter as well. LOL. And then, of course, Tracy did make Lifetime April 20th. So here's what happened, folks. Mike is Tracy's husband. And I can't remember exactly the words he used, so I'm going to get him a little bit wrong. But when I saw him in Indy, I think he said something about, he has sent 3 emails his entire life, right? I think that's what he said. So Mike said, I sent 3 emails my entire life. And one night he sat down and he sent an email to me at the exact same night that Tracy sent this email. Folks, this happens a lot on this show. We're connected way more than you think we are. And so the two of them both sent an email on the exact same night. And I want to read Mike's to you now as well. Mike says, also out of Newark, Delaware, Mike says, hey, Skinny Mike, I'm so incredibly proud of my wife, Tracy. The scale caught up with her and she made goal. She will make Lifetime on April 20th. We went on the 5K with you in Philadelphia last year. Tracy received her 100-pound charm that day. Again, I'm so proud. I wanted to thank you for your service and your support and your encouragement. You do make a difference. Thank you. We are a close family. Tragically, 3 years ago, her dad passed and he had to watch her journey from above. Then Monday, April 15th, my father went home to the Lord. It's so hard to stay away from the emotional eating, and I hate to see her gain too much weight that she'd worked so hard to lose. My question really is, how do loved ones stay supportive without being bitchy or nagging, both now and on a day-to-day basis? It seems to be a very fine line that keeps moving. Friends and family sometimes just don't understand or get the weight loss journey. It's okay to let go. She just works or works so hard that I hate to see her give back too much. I'm sure she'll be just fine. But if you have any insight for those of us outside of WW that may be listening with their loved ones, please share. Thanks again. See you in Indy, Mike. Mike, very, very cool. You're what an amazing husband you are. And of course we met in person, so I can validate that and I can say that with authority. But let's talk about the pain that comes through your email first, and, loss of Tracy's dad, loss of your father. Those parts of this journey, man, I tell you are tough. We lost Janine's father this year in January, and the impact it has on the journey is just immeasurable. You can't put a word on it. You can't put a time on it. It's just something we have to deal with and go through. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still not even completely recovered either. It's just every day something new, we talk about, and so it's always going to be there. But what I want to kind of get to in the question that you sent, Mike, is how do you support a love without being overly naggy, right? And so this would be a great opportunity for me to go grab my wife and say, "Come here, honey, how do you do this?" Because she does an amazing job at it. So I'm going to kind of tell you how she does it, because I don't know how to do it because she does it so well. But I have told her on more than one occasion, I'm like, "Hey, listen." This was long before I joined WW, like something along the lines of, "Hey, if you see me eating this, I don't want to eat these chips anymore, but if you see me eating this bag of chips, you have permission to tell me to stop eating them." And so I'd come home from work, I'd open the bag of chips, and she'd say, "Hey, Mike, you asked me to remind you to stop eating the chips." And I would look right at her and I'd say, "Stop, right? Not now." And I would continue eating the bag of chips. And so she'd look at me like, "But wait, you asked me to remind you." And I'm like, yeah, but not tonight. So how she navigates these waters, and she does it even today, as a matter of fact, she just subtly puts the words that she listens to the podcast, right? She has to hear it live because she's about 20 feet away right now. And so she hears the advice I give back, and she knows what this journey means, and she knows the mental side of this. So what has to happen is all she does is she doesn't nag. She doesn't say, she just simply reminds me of things that I already know to be true. And then she lets it go. And almost always, even after she's given me that little nugget, if I still make the wrong decision, in the back of my head, I'm sitting there going, "Okay, this is the wrong decision. All right, next time we're going to work on it." So we have to now understand that your support as a husband, your support as someone walking this journey with another person, your support really can just be love. That's really all it is. And I think that's all she's ever asking from you. And of course, clearly we know that regardless of what the scale says, the love between the two of you isn't going to diminish. So really that part's largely irrelevant. But what we do know is that the support that you provide, I mean, heck, you drove all the way down here to Indianapolis to be in the Indy Ultimate. You drove to Philadelphia. So she clearly knows that you have her back. And that's how you support them. And so we're not asking for the rules. We're not asking you to say, "Hey, tell me, make sure I do this right every single time," because we don't even do it right 100% of the time. But we're simply asking is that you love us anyways, you support us anyways. You, every once in a while, very gently, you just remind us of the things that we already know to be true. And if we look at you with like that death grip kind of look and say, "Stop it," just move on. At that point, you just go, "Yep, I get it." But I can tell you, and I do this with my own wife, and when she does say those things, every single time I hear it. And it does frame the next opportunity for me to be in that scenario. So the fact that you've taken time to write in, that tells us all we need to know, right? You're an incredible husband. You know how to support her. She didn't lose 100 pounds on accident. She didn't lose 100 pounds without your support. Continue doing that. Allow her the time to grieve, just like that you need the time to grieve. And so the good news is no matter what happens, she knows that she has the ability to control this journey again. So as life fluctuates and as things change and as things kind of, life kind of takes over us, we have the beautiful thing about those who make goal in a lifetime is that you can never take away that feeling of, "I was able to do this." You may get to a point where today is not important to do it. There are other things that are more important in my life than doing this again. But you never, ever lose the confidence to say, "I can do this." So as things settle down, as a new normal starts to develop, you simply say, "Okay, now that I'm in a new routine, let me make a little adjustment here. Let me make an adjustment there," and life continues to get better from that point on. So, again, Mike, thank you for your great note, and more importantly, like I said, as someone who has a supportive partner in their journey, man, it's so awesome to see. I see a lot of email that come through where folks don't have that kind of support. So Tracy has the ability to reach out to you, and clearly, like I said, she did not do this alone. You had to have been instrumental some way throughout the process. Just keep doing that. At that point, we just celebrate again. It's just always an opportunity to celebrate, and I always want to know, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice Podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. Hey, if you want to email in at onair@fatdag.com, and I really want you to be proud of what you're doing. This show is 100% about you and your journey, and all I do is just kind of reframe it back to you so that you know that you're on the right track getting it done. When you do that, the whole world looks at you and goes, I want that too. I want you to actually be proud of what you're doing, because what you're doing is hard work. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.